Take it out. I'd rather fucking them take the tax than have to pay it.
They're still gonna fuck you over in the end. Like I said, I've been waiting for a call for at least a month. Oh, we're on your callback waiting list.
Yeah, it's fucking nonsense.
I haven't got a callback, dude.
They probably have a shit ton going on. You should just file your taxes and deal with it later.
I can't. That's the thing. I need... So, when I was talking to the individual, she's like, yo, if you go to the New Hampshire unemployment website, should be a click on the... Yep. I click it, and then it's automatic owed. Like, almost $9,000. I'm talking to her. I'm like, there's no form that I can fucking get from it. It's basically a PDF saying what I owe. Where's my form? Oh, we'll put you on a callback list. Like, I've been trying this for like months.
Can you file taxes without it?
No.
How do they know that you have?
I could, but then it's gonna fucking bite me in the ass eventually.
It's gonna bite you in the ass no matter what at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you file without it, you know.
If I file, see, that's the thing. The only way I can do it is if I file that I never got no unemployment last year. Which, if I do that, is not true.
Then it's fraud.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna do that. So they're fucking putting me on the hook where, like, I could say, yeah, you guys didn't fucking pay me shit. No, you guys gave me a check.
Well, their deadline was fucking the beginning of the month, and they never sent it to you.
Supposed to be what, January 15th or 21st?
Write them a fucking letter, longhand letter, send it to unemployment, and say, you never sent me this. Your deadline was this date, and I have not received it. You are now liable for that. Because what's going to happen is if you don't file your fucking taxes, then they start charging you interest on your fucking taxes.
They've already started. They already got me up.
I'm talking about on your taxes.
Dude, they already got me for just unemployment almost $1,000 for over.
So write them a longhand letter, send it to them, and say, you never sent me my tax information, my tax paperwork.
Which I've called multiple times.
Don't even call. Send a fucking longhand letter. Send it.
I know, but I'm saying I called for that.
Yeah, I know, but what's the mail that you send where they have to fucking sign for it? Priority? Or some shit? First class?
There's a bunch first class.
So it's going to cost you a few bucks to send the letter. Write a fucking letter saying that you never sent me the information that I need for my taxes, the paperwork that you are, by law, required to send me by this date. You never sent it to me. I have never received it. My address has not changed since my last fucking taxes.
Since last year, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My address has not changed. I have not received that. Make sure you send it by, like, whatever it is, priority mail or whatever, where they first class mail, where they have to sign it to receive it.
Right.
And that says that they received your letter, you've notified them, and they have to send you your shit. Otherwise, when you go to do this and you file a claim against them and say they never fucking sent me my information so I can file my fucking taxes, whether I owe them money or not, they have to send me that information.
Which they haven't.
Exactly. So then you got a case. You know, then you got a case to fucking, you can get it all dropped as opposed to fucking having to pay them or for them, fuck them paying you anything, you know, but you have a case. You have sent them a request for your information. They have not sent it to you. Fuck them. Everything's behind. I have to send a fucking letter myself because I haven't received it. You know?
Yeah.
I haven't received shit. And they have my address because I only got paper checks from them. I didn't direct deposit. I direct deposited probably about halfway through when I was doing it. But the rest of the time I was getting the paper checks. They have my address.
I did direct deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have your address.
Yeah.
You know, so if you send them that, I'm gonna have to do the same thing because I haven't received it either.
That's
I can't
what I'm
file my
saying.
taxes. I got a month.
It's like not like I'm hiding. Like I've made the calls and like, hey, I'm trying to do my taxes here.
I would
it's telling me
include
to bring that
in the letter and say after multiple attempts at contacting your agency, you know, I've spoken to multiple people.
I was supposed to be on a callback list.
I'm on a callback list. I still have not received the information that I need to file my taxes. You are responsible to send me that. You know, where is it? You know, if I don't receive it by this date, you know, then further action will be taken.
No, it's just bullshit. All taxes are bullshit.
It's all nonsense. It's all theft.
It's fucking crooked.
Mm-hmm. I hate taxes. It's theft. We're about halfway, motherfucker.
I remember doing research on YouTube. They had IRS people that worked for 20, 30 years, and they were like, in no way were we found constitutional. Like, should they be taking federal taxes from people?
Yep. Up to the early 1900s or early 20th century, it was illegal. And they had the outbreak of Spanish flu, and they said we need to take taxes. This is temporary. And then fucking it. Since then, it has been tax everybody, tax for everything. You get taxed on you get payroll tax taken out, right? Income tax, right?
Which is illegal. Well, not the income tax, but the federal.
Yeah, federal, because we live in New Hampshire, we don't get state income tax, but when we work in Massachusetts, we get some state taken out. And then, say you went down to Massachusetts, you bought something, okay? You got to buy something in Massachusetts. With this money that you just paid taxes on to get the money that you worked for, now you have to pay money to the state in order to spend this money.
That's why I hate Massachusetts.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's why I won't work there if I can avoid it, But we do work partially in Massachusetts, so we do pay partially into Massachusetts taxes. We pay whatever we work.
That's one of the reasons why I got out of the union, because all we did was work out of Massachusetts. I remember one year I paid almost $15,000 in taxes, dude.
Yeah.
And then when I did my taxes, they had the nerve to say I owed them $300.
Really?
Yeah, dude. And I took so offense.
You didn't even live there?
No. Yeah. Well,
you lived there for part of it, right?
I lived there for a year and a half, but I never registered it. I always had New Hampshire. Yeah. So according to the state, I was still living in New Hampshire. I stayed there. Didn't live there.
You stayed there for work.
Yeah, essentially.
Just temporarily.
But, yeah, I forget what year exactly it was.
Yeah.
But it was almost $15,000. And then when I did my taxes, I did everything proper. I worked in this, this, and $300, these motherfuckers you owe me. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just dumped all this into you.
Yeah.
You have the balls to
the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah, dude, it was minute. I'm like, that's how I realized how petty it was.
It's take the $300 and rub it on your chest.
Yeah.
It's
legit.
Who do you think you are?
And what's funny is I started doing my taxes this year, and the unemployment for New Hampshire excluded, I owed $47 somehow to Massachusetts last year, and they said that I don't need to pay that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to.
I'm like...
The point is, you pay taxes into Massachusetts when you don't live in Massachusetts. None of that tax money goes back to benefit you. You should never have to pay.
Right.
And have you seen what's happening this year? Because a lot of people that work in Massachusetts, because of COVID, have been working from home here in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to take Massachusetts tax out of them. That's illegal. They did not even step foot in your state to work.
Well, that was the problem when I had an issue with...
Yes, yeah.
I caused a lot of controversy with that. Yeah, but
that's because they were hiding.
Mm-hmm.
They were illegally running their business out of New Hampshire. We should probably edit that name out if we're going to post this anywhere. They were hiding from the state of Massachusetts. They had an operation center here in New Hampshire,
mm-hmm.
And they had guys working out of New Hampshire, working in the state of New Hampshire and in the state of Massachusetts, but their headquarters was in Massachusetts, as opposed to the guys that lived here. They didn't disclose the information that they had an office here in New Hampshire.
But they also did the opposite, and that's why I got questioned about. So authorities from New Hampshire said, you're getting all these Massachusetts taxes. I said, yes. They said, where in Massachusetts did you go? I said, I didn't go to Massachusetts. They're like, when you left your home and you drove to the shop, where'd you go?
Hudson, New Hampshire.
So, exactly. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I drove to Hudson we got our jobs, then we went. They didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That company hid the facts, and they're like, well, do they have equipment there? I'm like, yeah. Do they have material there? I'm like, yeah. They didn't know that.
Yeah.
New Hampshire did not know that. And I said, we would leave New Hampshire, we would do work in New Hampshire, or we would do work in Massachusetts. That's where it got all fucked up.
Yep.
I got called from Concord, bro.
Yeah.
Talking to state officials, like, what do you mean? Because this state's just registered in Massachusetts.
Yep.
I'm like, no, the base that I knew, the base that I knew was out of New Hampshire. And a lot of times I would work in New Hampshire and I would get Massachusetts taxes taken out. And I said, I followed, I keep I keep a good track of where I work and cities, states, hours. And that's when we had the conversation. Dude in Concord hit me up. It was supposed to be with the owner and then big titty bitch with a broken back.
Oh, what the hell was her name? I can't remember her name.
So anyways, it was supposed to be them two. When I got on the phone call with whoever was in Concord, it was not, and it wasn't her. It was like a new secretary. So both of them.
Well, it was probably the woman from Massachusetts.
No. It was somebody they replaced her with. So it's from the company. They had no fucking idea who I was. So Concord starts asking. Yes. So it was like replacement. Concord started asking questions. All right. So on this date, this, that. Them two fools at this company had no fucking idea who I was. Didn't do research.
Was it Peter? Was it you were talking to or no? Because the owner and he's a really nice guy.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So
it was two jackoffs that didn't know my name, didn't know nothing, didn't do research. We were talking about specific job locations, and it's on record, like Blana's replacement. Like I'm trying to like locate this and your job site, and she couldn't bring anything up. So I'm the one that brought to that company, hey, New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and that's another dispute that fucking and I had when we worked together again.
Because it screwed him over. Now he had to pay.
Exactly. He was like, yo, you really fucked this company over. I'm like, no, first of all, they just didn't do shit properly, and I called them out. Yeah. If you suffered, that's not my fucking fault. Well, because of this. Yeah, it's the company's fault.
They were fucking everybody over. They weren't doing their job correctly.
I went to him. I said, yo, bottom line was, give me my last week check. That's all I wanted. Yeah. They were going to withhold it from me. So, all right.
You can't do that.
You're going to do that? I said, I'm going to go to the Department of Labor. Yep. They didn't fucking think I was going to do that. Yep. I went and I did everything official. Literally the day that information, that documentation got sent to that company, that's when I got flooded. Here's your last check. Yep. Got phone calls. I ignored them all completely. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, you really fucked up. Then months later down the line at Backstreet shooting pool in, it was like, you kind of fucked us over. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, now they have all new regulations, and that's not my fault. I just called them out. Yeah. Now they got regulations. Yeah. Well, because of this and that, like, no, like, they are a fucking shady company. Yeah. I called them out. All I wanted was my last check. All you had to do, give me my fucking money, the time that I spent. You didn't do that. All right. Sometimes the legal system works in your ways, others it didn't.
Well, the thing is, they really didn't have anything to complain about because they were already paying mass tax. They were paying mass tax and they were paying federal. So then, when you work in New Hampshire, all you're paying is federal. So you're actually saving.
Mm-hmm.
You're not paying into a state tax. So you didn't fuck them over. You didn't. The company technically didn't. The company was fucking them over for years beforehand and now got caught and now had to make it right for these guys. The thing is, though...
I'm glad I'm shining the light on that one.
Yeah, hell yeah, you were the whistleblower. And it's okay to be a whistleblower.
I've never got called that in my life.
Yeah, but that's what it is. You're a whistleblower, and it's okay.
I don't mind it.
It's okay to do that. The thing is, there's such a stigma against whistleblowers nowadays. Everybody thinks it's a negative connotation. Like it's negatively impacted when there's a whistleblower, but it's not.
I've never thought that.
You think about what was his name that fled the country that revealed all of the NSA tracking
Snowden.
us? Snowden.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything wrong. Well, there's allegations that he sold a lot of our information to
Edward Snowden.
Countries. Yeah.
He never sold any information.
Yes, but this is how they're trying to paint him.
Yeah, but he never sold.
I don't know this for a fact.
I know. I've done my research. He never sold information.
I've looked it up as well, but I've never spoken to him myself. I've never talked to the Russian government. I don't know what they know.
He went to a journalist.
Yes.
He had all this information, and then he went to a journalist, told the journalist that, and then that journalist published it.
Yep.
And then somehow, which I'm still wondering, got back to him. So that tells me that journalist fucking ratted on him. If I'm going to tell somebody confidential.
Well, that journalist released that information, so it's going to fall on them. And the journalist is probably like, well, I'm not taking the fall.
After he realized the implication.
Yeah, I'm just reporting the information.
Mm-hmm.
But if Edward Snowden did not sell any of the information to an outside country, if there was no espionage involved, then he did nothing wrong. He was letting the public know that the government, who should be transparent with its people, because the government wouldn't exist without its people, he let everybody know what the government was doing. And
so it makes you think. He exposed all this information. Why is the government so against it? Why? It makes you think, right?
If you have not done anything wrong, then you have nothing to fear. But if you have done something wrong and that information gets out there, then you have things to fear. That's when the cover-ups have to happen. That's when you have to, start attacking people's either livelihoods, their reputation, anything like that.
But why? Self-gain, right?
Yeah,
self-gain,
but also self-protection, which is what I just said. Is that you have if you haven't done anything wrong, then who cares?
Then you got nothing to worry about.
Exactly, but if you have, then you have to find a way to cover that up. So that's when it comes out. Whether Snowden did sell information or not, that's when those allegations started.
He never sold.
Yes, but we're going to demoralize this person and put this information out there so nobody knows what truly to believe. Is he a criminal spy, or is he the savior of the people? And most people, as Americans, when you know this, a lot of people believe what they read in the media or see in the media, whether it's true or false.
Oh my God, yeah, this is so acceptable.
It's why there's the Great Divide. The Great Divide is caused by the media. It's not caused by any particular person individually.
Well, you got to look at us. We're in our mid-30s now.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how we acted when we were teenagers, 20 years old, mid-20s.
Absolutely.
Now, that's what they're feeding their votes, their persuasion on.
Well, they're feeding these children information.
All of these younger ones.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's so easy. Now that we're in our age.
Yeah, we're a little bit older. We've experienced government and politics for a little while.
Yeah, it's very easy to manipulate people. Not saying that's a good thing.
No.
But the fucking people that are billionaires, they have the outsources to completely program people's minds.
Yeah.
Completely. And that's where you get...
Well, they have the resources to do so.
Well, you figure the media, they say, I don't even know if it's true. I'd like to fact check if we had a young Jamie. But I think it's either 5 or 7 media outlets that are owned by like the same 4 or 5 group of people.
Well, while we're talking about that, you look at like say, okay, Quaker Oats. Do you know who owns Quaker Oats?
Nah, I just like a little bit of cinnamon.
Who would you assume owns Quaker Oats?
I wouldn't have no idea.
No? You wouldn't say General Mills, Kellogg's would own an oat company?
Nope, I have no idea.
PepsiCo owns Quaker Oats.
Really?
Yep. PepsiCo. There's like, I think it's like 8 corporations that really own everything that's going on.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because look at, like, Disney owns DC Marble now.
Yep.
All the big tech, they all are fucking getting
Gobbling up
together.
these smaller companies. You know, they gobble up all these tiny little companies. You know, like you think about like Facebook. They bought Instagram for a lot of money. You know, but Instagram is probably worth 10 times what it was. You know.
Oh, well more.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Well more.
Absolutely.
Facebook, I would love to see. I wish we had a young Jamie. What
pop
does
something up.
Mark Zuckerberg own? So you got Facebook, you got Instagram.
Yep. WhatsApp.
There's another one.
Do they own WhatsApp?
Yes.
Yeah, they own WhatsApp, which is supposed to be it's supposed to be like an encrypted chat service, you know, but if Facebook owns it, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's a little bit happy. Yeah, no, it's actually it's pretty disturbing to when you finally understand how corporations work and who really owns everything.
And how many few people own it?
Yeah, exactly. So you have certain mindsets that are in charge of certain things. You know, like the media outlets. You know, a lot of them are owned by single people. You know, there's multiple different media outlets tell you different information, but they're all owned by the same person. And you know, what is their goal? What are they trying to do? With this great divide in the United States right now, it's disturbing as hell. You know, because we are literally eating each other alive. Everything is cancel culture, or you're a racist, or you're a sexist, and it's not like that. You know, most people in the middle are not like that. We're good people, good human beings. We want to contribute to society, but we get thrown into these pig pens with, you know, animals. You know, because on either side, the far right, the far left, they're both disturbingly dangerous individuals with things that they say. You know, the far sides are the ones that are destroying things. We shouldn't be canceling fucking Dr. Seuss right now. Wow, WAP is the #1 song in the fucking world. I'm sorry.
How contradicting
Wet
is that?
Ass pussy.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
and then they're going to try to
kids.
Then you know, Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato Head. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's offensive. Mr. Potato Head, that's been around for 40, 50.
There's Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. I'm sorry, but if you are a transgender and you were born in a man's body, you know, but you're a woman, then you're a woman. You'd still be a Mrs. You know, and vice versa. The thing is, whether people want to argue it or not, there are 2 genders. There's nothing else. If you transition to become a man or to become a woman, that is your gender. You are becoming that. You know, you have become that.
It's science. It's literally science. And that's the thing that kind of pisses me off about today's society, where it's become so emotional. You can't say he, she, Mr., Mrs., aunt, uncle.
They, them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what? Come on.
It's biology, and you're either a man or a woman. It's funny, we had discussion, Melissa and I last night.
M and you.
So,
Cheers.
cheers.
Salud.
So, we got on Fallon Fox.
Fallon
Fox.
I feel like I know who that is. Right?
She's, or he's, the transgender man that became a woman, started fighting
the UFC or
MMA.
It was MMA in general, yes.
MMA. Now, she's fought 6 times.
And she disclosed the fact that she used to be a man and said it was because of health reasons. She's not going to release her medical information. So
she did that. Her and I did 20 minutes on it because all of a sudden, like, we were right here. I started looking up. You know how I get once I want to fucking get into it. So, she faced multiple women. Her record 6-1, which I want to watch the fight that she lost to. I would love to see it because, haha, women beat you.
Yeah.
So, this bitch is a man that turned into a girl.
This woman is a man that turned into a girl.
No, I'm going to just fucking say it. No, there's no right. I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. Don't excuse my language.
Yeah, I call plenty of men bitches.
Yeah. So.
But that's the connotation of the word bitch. Like, it was such a derogatory term for women. But the understanding needs to be there. It's just a derogatory term. And we use that for everybody. It doesn't. When I call a man a bitch, I'm not calling him a woman. I'm just calling him a bitch at this point.
Yeah.
You know? It's like when Eminem, Eminem's being canceled right now. Did you know that?
She's not going to get canceled.
Yeah, we'll get back to that after we talk about Fallon Fox.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about that.
So, man comes a woman and is allowed to fight other women. Right there, I have an argument. Joe Rogan has an argument. There's a bunch of it. So, in 6 fights, she has literally broke 2 women's fucking skulls.
So, allegedly.
No, it's not allegedly. There's medical records. I looked it up.
Yeah, I was looking it up too, and I saw it's a split actual conversation. Some people say that she didn't. Some people say she did.
All right, so there's one that's definite.
One that's definite.
The other one, all right, I'll give maybe. The one I looked into broke her fucking skull, bro.
Yeah.
Shattered it. I watched the video yesterday. He was on top. Fucking just going to town.
And
my thing was
like a man beating a woman.
My thing was, why didn't the referee stop it before?
Yeah.
And then
is there too. Yeah.
It was like the Romans. Everybody was cheering for it, and I'm just looking at it like total difference.
It's a bloodthirst that people get, and bloodthirst is a real thing. A lot of people do get that. That's why we like combat
And
sports.
you know what? MMA still allows it. Still allows transgender fights.
Yeah, well, so does President Biden. He allows transgenders to compete in all kinds of sports at this point. I'm sorry, but if you're a moderately slower runner, as a man, you're going to be a faster runner as a female because you have that physical stature of a man. Whether you're tall or not, men are naturally more muscular.
Mm-hmm.
Women can. I'm not saying that there aren't women out there that are faster than me, that are stronger than me, that could probably beat my ass. Because there are probably quite a few women that could beat me up, or beat me in a race or anything. I've been knocked out on the lacrosse field by a chick.
Yeah, but it's different when a fucking dude decides, I'm just gonna put a pair of tits on me, grow long hair, and then gets in the fucking ring.
Yeah.
With a biological female and fucking cracks her skull,
That's
bro.
the problem. Where do we draw the line? Like, I fully accept people.
Bio. That's where we draw the line.
Yes, I think for sports and stuff. But what I'm saying is, I fully accept and understand people that want to transition. You know, you live a life, and it's a hard life, and you know you've felt this way your whole life that you were not meant to be a man or a woman, and you transition.
Still don't get it.
I fully accept it, and I
accept it. I don't get it.
I think it's absolutely fine. Like if that's what you want to do, you go through the process. You become a woman or a man, and you go through it fully. You know, at this point where you have completely chopped off your penis and turned it into a vagina, or grown a penis. I don't know how that works.
But a lot of them don't.
Young Jamie, if you could tell me how that works.
A lot of them don't.
Well,
they grow their hair long, they get tits, and they still have a dick.
At that point, you are still a man. You're just deformed.
Right. So why is there such a fucking culture defending all of this? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
I don't get it. Like, I was born a woman. Do you have a dick? Yeah. All right. You were born a man. You feel like a woman.
Yeah, but if you go through the surgery, then it's okay. But I don't think that you should be allowed to compete.
You're still a man, even regardless if you have the surgery.
If you're a woman and you're competing in these sports, and they do a blood test on you, and it's found that you have excess testosterone flowing through your system, that is cancelable. Like, you cannot go out there and compete because you have extra testosterone. That means that you took some kind of supplement.
I would say
if you are a transitioned person who went from male to female, that testosterone is in your system. Your muscles are a lot different than a woman's. You know, that testosterone is there. They should be testing for testosterone. If you have excess testosterone, then you can't do it. You're banned. You know, if you're taking estrogen, if you're taking testosterone blockers, you know, and your body is becoming more womanly, you know, then that's a different situation. You know, if you have a vagina and you're taking these testosterone blockers and your body is transitioning to be a woman.
But let me ask you this, not to cut you off.
That's okay.
Let me ask you this. I'm a man. You're a man.
That's questionable, but continue.
Questionable that you're a man?
Yeah.
Are you a boy?
No.
Are you a female?
For the intents and purposes.
Okay. So let's say this, right? We grew up in a generation with the internet.
We were probably the first generation to have internet.
That's what I'm saying. So
halfway through our childhood, we got the internet.
We grew up without the internet.
Yep.
And there was a certain way. Internet came, now it's a different way.
Yep.
Now all these, I feel, stupid, nonsensical points that are driving cultures to a specific way. I feel cultures should be natural and expand and evolve naturally.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you mean naturally? Can you define that?
Organically. Meaning...
Like layman's terms.
Layman's terms, let's say 100 years ago. Man, female met, they fell in love, they had kids, they grew them up, they had grandkids, they grew them up. I'm going to teach you my trade. The woman's going to say... Are we
talking culturally, or is this leaning towards racially? Like how
culturally.
So, specifically culturally.
Culturally.
In America, we are a culture, a multi-racial
Not even in America, just culturally.
Worldwide. You know, there's a lot of black people in France.
Yeah.
You know, and they're French.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with race.
Okay.
Culturally, like, your grandparents, you hear stories, you learn that from, trickles down.
Yeah.
You get your family values, you bring it down to yours. Now, today's generation, I heard a statistic that CNN, which I don't like.
Yeah.
But
I don't like news in general.
They said that the most influential politicians outside of actually politicians, so meaning people that watch the media, the news, and everything, their age range is from 35 to 44, males without families. That makes sense. You're older, you're bitter, you want to lash out. The people that are in their 30s, have a wife, and have kids aren't going to bother with that shit.
We got too much going on.
Exactly.
That's the difference between you and myself, right?
They're not going to bother with all this shit that they see.
But look at how you and I are in general. You know, we're talking about, males, mid-30s with completely different lifestyles at this point. You know, I've got a family, I've got a wife. And you are a bachelor. You know, very fucking handsome, by the way. But you're a bachelor. You know what I'm saying? And we have very different lifestyles. But when we come together and we're doing this podcast, PodGalaxy, shout it out. When we're doing this, there's no fucking difference.
Right.
You and I are talking. Like, we do have differences of opinion. There's plenty of little differences there. But we're able to sit down and have these conversations. But the problem with the world right now, or at least with America, is that people aren't sitting down and having conversations. All they're doing is going out in the fucking streets and screaming out.
People are too sensitive these days.
But how are they so sensitive when we grew up with South Park and Family Guy?
Because you know what's taken over?
What?
Is the new generation. So...
The next generation.
Yes.
Hey.
So the Democrats wanted to allow 16-year-olds to vote for this election.
That's nonsense.
And that, to me, shows desperation.
Oh, absolutely.
Since the elections have been, they have an age limit, they have a day, everything should be set in stone. They wanted 16-year-olds to vote. You're talking about people that can't buy scratch tickets, people that can't buy cigarettes, but then you want to go to 18 years old. All right, 18 years old. You can join the military.
And that's it.
You can go on foreign land and shoot somebody. So you're 19 years old. You can go foreign land, shoot somebody, and then come back and then go to a bar and not allowed to buy a beer.
Well, nowadays, you're not even allowed to go buy a pack of cigarettes.
That's what I'm saying.
21 years old.
How fucking crooked is that?
I think everything should be 18 in general.
How crooked is that? I'm 19 years old. I'm going to fight for my country. I'll go overseas, spend 9 months, shoot, kill, bomb, this and that. And then I come back here. Now I need to wear a mask. Oh, I can't buy this from the store. I can't go into this place with a mask. How, minute
you're taking children.
Are these fucking people getting? Like, it's just becoming ridiculous. And the generation that's coming up, they just follow it. They listen to us. I think we have an appreciation because we got to experience beforehand, after. I can only imagine what the old timers are like. The old timers already know. Now, if I would have asked the old timer, like if I'd have asked my parents like 10, 15 years ago, they would tell me something. Now it's kind of funny because we can have the same conversation that we had 10 years ago, and they're like, well, I kind of see your perspective now.
Yeah.
Like, protein shakes. Like my mom, I was always about multivitamins, protein shakes, and she was like, you got to eat food. I'm like, I do eat food, but this is, an enhancement process. This is only added.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. She used to tell me that. 10 years later, she's telling me about the protein shakes and the vitamin shakes. I was like, maybe I wasn't so wrong after all, was I?
Yeah.
That information carries on, but from how they are now with the multimedia and social media. It's not like before you and I had the internet, we could think on our own. Now everybody's hopping on this AI social media, and it's kind of making them think in certain directions.
The internet itself has kind of damaged our ability to get impartial information because
Kinda.
it has damaged it extremely. But like back in the day, you could trust a news source. You're watching the news and you understand and you believe that they are just reporting the news. The whole point of being a reporter is to report. We don't want to hear your opinion on it.
With no emotional attachment.
Exactly, no opinions. Now things have changed with the clickbait. Everybody wants to get the most clicks, the most likes. And so everything has become completely partial to what somebody is believing. So somebody is going online. Like, let's fuck even talking about the news. Fuck the news. Have you ever tried to look up a recipe right now online? You look up a recipe, and it's a 10-page segment about how my grandmother, when she fled, Ethiopia from these people that were killing everybody, did this, that, and the other thing, and now 10 pages later, and now after all of that, knowing how my family grew up, I've developed this recipe. And here's the recipe. You got to scroll 30 fucking pages to get at it. And it's nonsense. And this is what's happening across all sorts of media. Everybody has to be me, 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 me. As opposed to being them, them, them. These people are suffering. These people are getting killed.
What do you think made that, transformation?
So I think it's the advent of social media. Because think about it, MySpace was different. MySpace was a place where you could make your page.
MySpace was cool.
You can throw on some music, throw on some pictures and stuff like that. And it was cool. People could look at it. And then Facebook came out, and it was exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Very exclusive. In the beginning, you couldn't even join Facebook unless you got an invite from somebody. And originally, they were like, only this college has access to this Facebook. And then maybe that college can have it.
Because Facebook was originally invented just for colleges. I think it was only three or four.
It was Ivy Leagues. I'm pretty sure it was like Harvard and like a couple of other
Harvard,
ones.
Yale, and it was only for those specific people to talk, communicate.
So when I first got onto Facebook, my older sister, who was at Bridgeport College at the time, or Bridgeport University in Bridgeport, Connecticut, she was like, hey, you got to check out this Facebook. And I'm like, what the fuck is a Facebook,
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you can get in it if I invite you. Here, I'm going to set you up a page, and I'm going to send you an invite. And she set it up, sent me an invite to join Facebook, And I joined Facebook, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what is this,
Mm-hmm.
And it was very weird and very different, MySpace was just so open. We could do whatever the fuck we wanted,
right.
And so Facebook, I get on there, and it was weird. It was different. Like, there wasn't anything wrong with it, but it was like, all right, let's get to know this, and, you put your personal information in there. I was born this day. I live this place. Here's a picture of me. Here's my feed. And you remember back in the days where it was the feed. Like, scroll on that motherfucker,
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay, but then started coming like the Facebook games. And they're like, oh, all right.
It's the algorithms
we can make money
over
on the games, and algorithms take over. And now they look at ways to make money off of this free service. And obviously now we all know, that they're collecting our information and selling it to advertisers.
It's fucked up too? If you think about it, in 200 years, Facebook is going to be the biggest obituary.
It's going to be an obituary. Yeah. Think of how many people we know already where their Facebook pages are still there. I've thought about it recently because
that goes along mine.
A good friend of mine died, and I hopped onto his Facebook, and I said, "Happy birthday to you, miss you," And I know a lot of people that have died, but only certain people get that out of me. Like, I miss you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was like me too, because I had my original Facebook that I started from like day one.
Yeah.
Collected a bunch of friends and did my shit. Talked a lot of stupid shit, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then started a brand new one, and I was going to delete the first one that I had.
Yeah.
And then I started scrolling, and I had like Jama, Kristen, my grandparents, Dave, Lenny, all these people that died. I didn't have the heart to delete it. It was kind of like that attachment that I had, so that's why I started a new one.
Well, I'm against the whole starting a new one type of deal. I have my original one. If
You didn't have the ex-girlfriend that I had.
But if there's things like that, then I block people. I don't sit there and if somebody's going to come at me on my Facebook, I will just block them.
But once you have like 30 mutual friends, like enough is enough.
Block them.
Start
block
fresh.
Them all. Who cares? I have 1,000 friends on my Facebook right now.
I'm not going to waste my time blocking certain people and I would rather start fresh.
Yeah, but I would rather be able to have my one feed with all the things on there. I don't want to have to go search. Because you know what? When I go on there and I want to go search for my friend that died, when I send him that friend request, he's never going to accept it.
That's why I didn't delete my last one.
Yeah.
I have attachments to that one.
Yeah. And
my new one, I don't have no mutual friends. Look at us talking
right now about our need for this Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It has become a need for people. People need this shit. I personally don't wake up in the morning and hop on Facebook. I hop on Facebook maybe once a week.
I don't need social network anymore. Before, I was very, like, angry and had, like, a bunch of shit. And, like, it was kind of my way to vent. And then I wouldn't read a lot of the comments.
Yeah.
But then I would have like one person that would say like one comment. I would just kind of like scroll and pick up. And I'd be like, kind of like put things into perspective a little bit. Yeah. Just a little bit. So, I mean, I'm guilty. Back in the day, I used to put a lot of fucking personal animosity and emotions. Yeah. These days, I don't do it. I'll put songs once in a while. I'll throw like a political jab because.
Yeah. No, I noticed that. The other day you posted something. It was a good one.
Yeah, like, but I don't go into it no more. I don't try to argue with people. Yeah. I take it. I take social media now like as a grain of salt, if you would.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt. The way that I perceive it, I posted some personal shit on there before as well. Relationship stuff and whatever.
I don't even do the relationship shit.
No, I don't do any of that. I don't post on Facebook. I have a couple of groups that I might post in. I use it for business purposes, but I don't go on there and post. I post, like, I just posted looking for guys, and I had people sharing it.
Looking for guys. Oh, boy.
How it's my new grind there, buddy.
Oh, boy.
I love it.
Always for guys.
Searching for men. But so I
posted on Facebook. I'm looking for guys.
Yeah. But I posted.
Let's just. He's looking for guys to hire for the company that we are working for.
Yeah, I was looking for some new employees, I guess. But I'm looking for people. I don't care if it's a guy, a girl. Like, we just fired a girl. Not because she couldn't do the work. It was because she didn't do the work. But still, I was looking for people to come in and work with us. So I posted that, and I had people sharing it. And that made me very happy when I saw some of the people that were sharing it are not even here. Mm-hmm. They're in Massachusetts, they're fucking 10 towns over, and I comment on their shit. And I don't comment anything in words besides, like, thank you.
Very rarely you do.
Yeah, I put, like, a GIF or a meme. I don't like to put my words on there because that's kept for posterity. That's kept forever.
Right.
If I sit there and say, I fucking hate Batman. Batman is a piece of shit. He never should have rapped in the early 90s. You know? Now that's out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything's recorded
It's
now.
out there to the world.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny, though. You were expecting me to say, like, Batman and Robin and the Joker, but I was like, no, Batman!
I was wondering where you were going with that.
You know? The thing is, like, I treat everything as if this is going to be seen by everybody.
But it's so true because it seems like everything these days could be recorded or videotaped. And I say videotape because I come from that area.
Yeah, kids don't even know what videotaping is. They just, he's shooting a video.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's not videotaped anymore because there's no tape involved.
Right, but I mean, your cell phones, the microphone, like, even if you turn it off, it's been proven that they can still hear your audio.
Yeah.
And going back on what you were saying about Snowden, that shit is recorded.
Yeah.
We got 4 cell phones in a laptop, TV, and 2 computers here. Like, they are recording us, and if they really recording us, and if they really wanted to, they can fucking hack into it.
Yeah.
Let's see what these motherfuckers are talking about.
I just watched, I finished it this morning, I started it
Pieces
yesterday,
of shit.
but Operation Odessa. It was talked about in one of Joe Rogan's most recent podcasts. He had the guy that produced it on there. And he said a lot of stuff. And I was like, screw it, I'm going to watch this. And these guys that the documentary was about, they were tapped the whole time. They showed tons of audio evidence against these guys in this documentary, shit that was recorded by the feds. So Operation Odessa is actually a really cool story. It's a Russian guy, a Miami guy, and a Cuban guy, that were getting helicopters for a cartel. And they had an opportunity to get a submarine for this cartel. And that's basically where they got caught up. They were very involved in drug trafficking, or allegedly. They were
you talking about from Miami?
Yeah. So they were involved.
We talked about that in that special.
Allegedly.
Did you watch
that? Yeah, I watched it. It's freaking good.
It's amazing.
Operation Odessa was really good. One of the guys was a Russian, and he's back in Moscow. The other guy was from Miami, and he's still down in Miami, and the third guy was a Cuban, and this guy has been on the run for 30 years.
And he did an interview.
On the plane and shit, yeah. He did an interview, and he's in the fucking thing.
Fucking baller.
The guy's ballsy.
Shit,
well,
dude.
The thing is, and what they were talking about is people want their story out there.
Did you see, too, they interviewed the other ones while interviewing? Well, will he do an interview? Absolutely not.
Yeah. He would never.
They went to another one?
And then he's like,
no, we'll never, ever do that. He would never do that.
In Africa, and boom, there he is. And this guy looked and sounded like a bad motherfucker.
There was everybody that was associated with this dude was like, no, he's not going to get on
never
camera.
Even find him.
You won't even know where this dude is, and then all of a sudden, like you said, on a fucking airplane, private aircraft,
he's like, that guy reached out. That guy was like, I've got the fucking resources to find this guy that's doing this documentary.
Right there,
Maggie, dude, Maggie. And this dude's being hunted by fucking cartels, by governments. Holy fuck. That guy was
But he also did fuck them over, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He also fucked them over. Shit. I think it was at the time,
That's the way I'd live, too, if I fucking fucked over a cartel for $10 million or more.
It was something like that. 10 or 15.
Yeah, if I screwed over a cartel for that money, I'd be on the run.
He took, I think it was half the stash.
So in the documentary, they said it was 10. He disclosed how much the deal was, but I don't believe that's
Well,
the
that's
real
what
number.
I'm saying. Yeah, I think they sugarcoated it.
Yeah. But still,
But 10,
If you
15
did that
million?
shit, wouldn't you be on the fucking run? But the thing is, are we as smart as that guy? You know?
Obviously not, because he has a lot more money than I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple as that. I'm not going to say I'm smarter. And
I wasn't asking if you were smarter. I was asking if you were as smart.
No. But that goes on to our conversation about the little ones think they're a lot smarter than what they really are.
But you think about that.
But then you compare
You think
that.
about us at that age. We thought we were smarter than a lot of people too.
But
and that's just how it is. But they're growing up in a different era, and you know whose responsibility it is to make sure that they are raised better than that? It's fucking her responsibility. You know? It's their parents, us, me and my children. It's my responsibility to make sure that these kids that I birthed, these kids that came from my womb.
Your womb?
Yep.
You got a womb?
For all intents and purposes, yes.
You got a womb.
So these kids that came from my womb. Now? Is there a problem with that?
Do you have a womb?
These kids that came from my womb.
The bulls.
My womb.
They came from your bulls. They came from the bulls.
These kids that were birthed from my womb. Okay?
You don't have a womb.
It is my responsibility to
Women
make sure
have womb.
that they are raised right. So that when they grow up, they aren't sitting here saying, WAP is an amazing song, but Dr. Seuss is fucked. What the fuck is that? That shit's been around for 80 fucking plus years, and they're like, well, Dr. Seuss isn't okay. Because he said there was a wallet in his pocket. What does that mean? Well, W could be a woman. He's got a woman in his pocket. Cancel him. Fuck you and fuck them and fuck all that bullshit. The point is, we're not censoring. We don't censor. There are libraries right now, like the New York Public Library is like, no, we will not remove that from our shelves. We will not censor. We won't censor any fucking book. Because you know what? I guarantee you that Mein Kampf is on a shelf in that library right now. Nobody has brought that up. No, we need to fucking cancel Mein Kampf. But we gotta cancel Dr. Seuss. And let's get on to the point now. Let's get to it. Let's hit it. They're trying to cancel Eminem. They're trying to cancel Eminem over his lyrics. Over his lyrics that what? And if she ever trying to leave, I'm going to tie her to the bed and light this house on fire. Okay?
All right, so I don't pay attention to that because to me, that is so fucking ridiculous because Eminem has said way worse, more things. And if you're really going to go after that lingo,
that specific lyric,
if you're gonna go after those specific lyrics,
this is the thing. These are kids that have never heard Kim.
Right.
They're trying to cancel him over that. This motherfucker murdered his wife in a song. Yeah. And it was released to the public, and there was a lot of backlash over that. Yeah. There was a lot of people like if you bought the actual album, what was it, the Slim Shady LP?
Well, look at when he was talking about Columbine.
But hold on, before that, we're talking about Kim. So that was the Slim Shady LP where he had Kim, or was it the Marshall Mathers?
No,
it was the Slim Shady.
I think it was the Slim Shady.
Yeah, yes. So the Slim Shady, and if you bought the edited version, there was another song in place of Kim. It was Kids.
Yeah.
That was a 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, that's My Name Is.
Oh, no, what? Yeah.
My Name Is 9-inch.
Well, Kids was the song that replaced Kim.
I know what you're talking about, yeah. Those lyrics specifically were My Name Is, which was an edited version. Because he also talks on My Name Is, where he talks about slit in the throat about his dad, and then they had to change that. So he was like, "Oh, it's a porno mag."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kids was just a song that they put in there to replace it because it was a little bit more tame than him murdering his fucking wife on an album. And
that song was brutal.
It was fucking brutal, dude. That
whole shit thing wouldn't allow today, but they're gonna go on his lyrics of the one you just pointed out that's one they have a problem with.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why are you gonna call out this specific line in person? Now, I could fucking demonstrate hundreds of fucking other lines. If we're talking just like 2 sentences, you got a problem with 2 sentences, I could give you a fucking 100 right now.
Yeah.
That you would have a problem with, but
So
this is the one you have a problem
Why are we
with.
canceling Brenda Had a Baby?
Don't even give me that.
Why are we canceling that?
That is a heartfelt story.
It is a very heartfelt story, and so was Eminem's, because he was hurting from that situation. In his mind.
Do you know why? It's because people are fucking pussies these days.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a fact.
It is. They're so fucking sensitized.
No, but now they're making it okay for the government to censor us. We should not be. I should not have gone in Facebook jail last week over a stupid post.
Yeah, it's not right.
You know, it's nonsense. That post was not in any way politically motivated, or in any way it did not depict any sense of.
You got kicked out of Facebook?
I put in Facebook jail.
Oh, for what?
Yeah, well, I made a post. That kid out, was it in Wisconsin? Was it Kenosha? Is that the one where the kid, somebody asked him to come and, watch their thing. He's walking down the street with his AR, and fucking some dudes try to fuck with him, and they throw a fucking skateboard at him, and he blasts the motherfuckers. They attacked him, and he blasted the motherfucker. I'm pretty sure one of the motherfuckers lost their arm, or at least part of them, So the Facebook post that I made was a picture of the riot saying, defund the police, we can police ourselves. And then a picture of this kid walking down the street with his AR saying...
As soon as you said defund the police.
Yeah. So a picture of this kid walking down the street with his AR, and it said, specifically, he policed his neighborhood. And then it showed another picture of, like, a fucking woke person in the fucking thing just kind of, like, screaming. Like that was wrong. That he policed his neighborhood. And that's it. That's all it was. But I got canceled for it because they said that it depicted a group of violent people. So was it the kid, or was it the picture of the fucking rioters?
Isn't it funny that before the election, all the riots and all this shit, and then all of a sudden when the election came, everything that they did was all justified?
Yeah, well, everything's going on right now. The kid's name was Kyle Rittenhouse. All right? But yes, this is crazy. And during the lockdown, the quarantine, now all this shit is happening, and we're on the verge of opening back up. Florida's been open. Texas just opened. Who's fucking next?
There's 13 states that have a no mask
mandate
policy.
Yeah.
And all their senators are Republicans.
Yeah.
I just saw that today.
And I don't care for party. What I care for is people. We need to open up because this virus is not as serious as they keep saying. It's
the Democrats that are trying to entrap you.
It's okay to well, I'm not going to blame just the Democrats because there's a lot of people involved in this right now. But I am going to say that we can open up 100% and we can keep social distancing. I've been social distancing for fucking years. I don't want nobody near me.
Been a year now.
Yeah, but still, before that, I avoided people. I'd be walking down the street and I see somebody walking towards me on the same sidewalk. No matter what color, fucking nationality they were, I cross the fucking road because I don't want to be walking next to somebody. I hold my breath in stores when certain people walk by me. That way I don't have to smell them.
That's Nashua.
And that's basically, yeah, exactly. It's Nashua, and also it's fucking fat people. Because fat people can't clean all their fucking orifices. Some people are clean, some fat people can. But I don't believe it's healthy. I think it's good. If I choose not to smell the person that walks by me, if you walk by me on the fucking street and I just hold my breath, you don't even know that.
Yeah.
You don't even know. But I hold my fucking breath because I don't want to smell the person that's walking by me because I have in my head a perception that person probably stinks.
Because you don't want to, but you're not gonna go on and fucking shame that fucking person.
No,
just gonna walk it off and be like, all right, I did what I needed to do.
I wouldn't shame a person, and I don't even like to fat shame. But the point is that I know a lot of fat people, and I know they kind of stink. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. If you cannot reach yourself to fucking clean yourself, you're not the best smelling. And I don't even have the best fucking hygiene. I go to work for fucking a couple days and I haven't showered. Like, it happens because I'm tired, but I'm also not acting as if I don't smell.
But that's different.
You know? I get home, my daughter comes up to try to fucking hug me, and I'm like, hey, baby, no, Dad smells. Dad's dirty, he smells. Let me go take a shower. I haven't showered in 2 days because I've had fucking long days, and I get home and I just want to sit down and relax.
That was like yesterday when she came over too. I kept my boots on because I'm like, if I take my boots off, it's gonna smell. Like, and I don't want you because we already had that like a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I was wearing my work clothes and I took it off, and she's like, "I can smell your feet." I'm like, "What?" And then it registered to me.
Pair of socks.
I always change. As soon as I come in, as soon as I take my boots off, I put brand new socks on.
Oh, I don't do that.
But she smelled from the fucking boots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kind of was like ashamed about it. But yesterday I'm like, I didn't even take my boots off. That way, I mean, I smell like I smell from 2 days of hard work.
I have multiple pairs of boots. So these are my clean boots. They've been kind of worked in lately because I've been lazy, because I come out to your job sites and shit, and instead of being the office guy, I got to do some work, but I forget to change my boot. But typically, I have a pair of boots that are my work fucking boots, you know, the ones that I fucking get rough in, and then I got my nicer pair of boots, and in my truck, my boots are sitting there, and I swap them, you know? So my work boots always sit in my truck unless I'm wearing them, and they have some of those stinky boot balls in them.
I think it's your feet.
Well, yeah, your feet smell, but your feet are always in your boots. So that's why I always do that. So when I get into my truck, you know, at the end of the day, I put on my regular boots. You know, and these ones ain't not stinky. These ones are still a little bit stinky, you know, but that's only because I'm throwing fucking dirty socks in them after I worked all day. But I swap my boots around so it's not just one pair of boots. I have a very distinct experience with one of my closest friends in the world. You're one of my closest friends. I have another close friend, and I've been part of his family for a lot of years. And years ago, I'm talking maybe 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 years ago, you know, I show up at their house, and I'm hanging out, and I take my boots off, and they're like, your fucking feet stink! You know, and I wore the same pair of boots every day. They got soaked all winter long while I was driving a tow truck. You know, and I'm like, whatever. You know, it is what it is. And my buddy runs over to my boots, and he dumps baking soda in the boots. You know.
Does that work?
It helps with scents. That's why people leave them in the fridge. Like soda.
But if you would put baking soda in your boot, does that help?
It helps a little bit, but I'd say just get yourself a couple of them boot balls.
I know those work, but does baking soda work?
It works a little bit, you know. So he dumped that shit in my boots, got me a fresh pair of socks, threw my socks out, because these people are like my family, like 100%. I could go there with my kids, with my wife.
That's some distinguished smell when you have family members throwing your socks out.
My boots stink, dude, because my boots got wet on a daily basis because I was towing trucks, laying down on the ground in the snow all winter long. Like, they stink, dude. And I wore the same pair of boots every day, you know, no matter what I did. They stink. You know, and these people that were like my family, that are like my family still to this day, you know, they fucking did that. And it's okay. And to this day, we still talk about it, and they bring it up to fucking poke jabs and make fun of me when we're drinking and having parties and stuff like that. Yeah. Not that we're partying in a quarantine pandemic, but these people...
6 feet away.
Yeah, but they still do that. And, like, I accept that, but I understand that I can't wear the same fucking boots every day. You know? Yeah. I can't wear the same boots all day long. So I have a separate pair of boots that I use specifically for work, and I keep them balls in there, and I fucking put those on when I'm working.
They're eventually going to stink, though.
They do stink.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
You know, but those balls keep them kind of fresh,
Yeah.
you know. But the thing is, these boots are 3 years old, and it's about time for me to fucking replace them. So what's going to happen is these boots that I'm wearing are going to become my new work boots, and I'm buying a new pair.
It's transition.
You know? Yeah, especially it's nice because the company that we're working for right now will reimburse us, $100 towards the boots, which is great. So I'm going to buy myself a nice $300 pair of boots, and I'm only paying $200 for them.
Yep.
Might as well.
Absolutely.
But I I have a very personal relationship to the smelly boot situation, and I get it. I get it. Sometimes you don't want to take them off, and a lot of the times when I was over there, I don't want to take them off because I knew they stink.
Mm-hmm.
And they were bad. My feet fucking were bad back then because I was literally soaked. Like, we work in basements now. We get wet sometimes, but I was wet every day.
Well, I took my boots off. I forget where they were. And it was like one of the first few times her and I hung out, and she even like commented. She said, "I can smell." I was like, "I'm sorry." Like, and she's like, "No, like that's work. Like
Yeah.
that's your work." And it was cool. Like she understood it. She's like, I've dealt with it. It's not like overbearing.
Yeah,
but she's like, you're working. You know what I mean? Like I get that. And I was like, yo, I'm so sorry. Like I put my fucking boots in the father room. I changed my socks.
I was like, boots in the hallway and be like, let me hop in the shower for a minute and wash my feet.
That was my next thing. I was like, yo, I'll hop in the shower. She's like, no, like. It wasn't that overbearing.
That's a good woman, though.
I got the drift, and she was like, "No, like we're good." And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna take a shower." She's like, "No, like we're hanging out. You don't need to take a shower." I'm like, "I'll take it." She's like, "No, like I gotta." She came over, and I knew she was coming over. I got home, and like it was maybe like 10 or 15 minutes later. I knew she was coming over. I kept my boots on. I'm like, listen, I didn't shower. She's like, I see you work. And I was like, I didn't take my boots off so you didn't have to smell them.
You know what else works for boots, by the way?
Febreze.
No, not even. Fuck that. Fuck Febreze. Febreze is fucking gross.
Febreze works a little bit.
Not inside of a boot, though. It's not going to work as well as if you're spraying it on fabric. Honestly, orange peels. Buy some oranges, eat some oranges, and throw the peels in your boots. And the citrus and stuff in that eats away a lot of the smell and absorbs it all because the inside of an orange has that like white, whatever you want to call it, white material that absorbs a lot of the smell, and then the citrus in there helps it like neutralize it.
Well, I would take the skin off. I can't eat oranges.
You don't like oranges?
Okay, so I'll tell you the story.
Tell me the story about oranges. Why do you not like oranges? Was it gross?
So, one of my first babysitters growing up, she was very abusive and...
Good kind or not good kind? You fucker?
No, I'm talking about like my like very first like memories.
Yeah.
As a babysitter.
Real little.
Young.
Yeah.
And she used to beat the shit out of me if I didn't eat whatever was on or in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And oranges, I remember vaguely because I needed to eat the oranges and I needed to eat the peel. She made me eat.
Oh, terrible.
She made me eat the peel, and I remember like taking the skin off, eating the orange, and then putting the peel aside and getting fucking beaten over the head because I didn't eat the skin, and then I needed to eat the skin. She would force me to eat the skin.
Jesus.
Yeah, and
did you ever tell your parents about this?
It happened later on.
Yeah, you did tell them.
It happened later on that my father came about one day randomly that the babysitter wasn't expecting him to show up. And that showed like the real light of what she really went through.
Yeah.
And
what you really went through.
Yeah. So I was forced to take the skin off, eat the oranges, and then I got literally beaten in the head if I didn't eat the skin. So I had to eat the skin.
So wait, you don't eat the skin on the orange? That's the healthiest. I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's like now I'm thinking about it. To be honest, like it was like
pretty bad,
pretty influential, bro. Like I think, honestly, since I can remember, I maybe had 3 or 4 bites of an orange. Just because of
It's
that.
understandable. You're traumatized.
Yeah.
You get PTSD when you look at an orange. You get that 12-mile stare when you see an orange. Want to hear a funny story about an orange?
At first, it was like that. Like in my early 20s, that would be like my... Now, I could probably peel an orange and eat it. I don't prefer the tastes so much.
Well, orange is like my favorite fruit besides kiwis.
You know? But, I mean, I do... One of my very first memories was like getting beaten over the head if I didn't eat the orange skin.
Yeah, the peel.
And that, for a while. Now that I think about it, that like kind of was a little.
You want to hear a funny story that happened to me recently? So, I've always liked oranges. I didn't have a traumatic experience with oranges. I could tell you a thing about raisins, but that's another story. But so
I love raisins.
I hate raisins. But I bought oranges, like little mandarins, for the kids in the house and for me because I like oranges.
Yeah.
And so my son has never had an orange at this point in time, and this is very recent. Like he just started eating real food like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I had oranges, and I grabbed one to eat myself, and he's like, looking at me, and he's like, apple, and I'm like, no, it's an orange, motherfucker. And Kelly's not there, so I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna give him an orange, fuck it. So I go to the fridge and I grab another one. I grab like 4 because when I eat oranges or these little mandarins, I eat like fucking 3 of them at a time. Just like,
right, they're so fucking tiny.
Yeah. So I go in the fridge, and he comes with me because he likes to help me. So he comes to the fridge and he grabs one, and I grab a few more. And we go back to the table. I grab some paper towels. That way I can throw the peels on the paper towel and then wrap it up and throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
So he's so excited. He's trying to bite the fucking orange. And I'm like, no, buddy, no. We hold on. And I show him, and I'm like, look, and I'm peeling it. I start peeling the fucking thing, and this kid the whole time is just like trying to grab the orange out of my hand, So I peel it off, and I like to pride myself in having a whole peel at the end of the process. Like it's all one piece. I don't like to have little pieces. I don't want to be able to like just pick it up and throw the whole thing away.
No, I get you.
So I sit there and I'm doing that and I'm peeling it apart, and one little piece breaks off. I'm like, screw it. And I throw it down on the fucking paper towel. And Archie, without missing a beat, my son, without missing a beat, is just like, snatch, come on. And I'm like, no. And I'm fishing this peel out of his fucking mouth. And he's sitting there not understanding what the hell's going on because he thought I just gave him like a piece of fruit.
Right.
And I'm like, no, buddy, you don't eat that shit. And like I can't get it out of his mouth, and I see him chewing, and he's like,
spit it out, right?
Spits that shit right out. And I'm like, dude, you're not supposed to eat that.
Orange peel is so disgusting.
I get it peeled, and I fucking pull it apart, and I put it down. I'm like, this. And he's like real nervous about it at this point. He's like, that tasted like shit, And I grab a piece, and I'm like, here. And I give it to him. And he grabs it, and he's like, just like squeezing it and pulling it apart, because he doesn't know what the fuck to do with this gross shit anymore. Right. And he pulled it apart and put a piece on the table, and I grabbed it and I shoved it in his mouth.
You already tasted it. He was like,
Yeah. I grabbed it and shoved it in his mouth, and then he started eating it. And he was like, oh, this is good. And he starts going at it. This kid loves his oranges now. But he thought that the peel was the fruit.
Yeah.
I can't even explain to you how fast this kid, as soon as he saw that piece of peel go down, was like, snatch in the mouth. And it was, to me, it was the funniest thing.
You would automatically think so, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Daddy's going to give me something like that. Like, same thing, like fucking, like a nutshell. No, you're not going to eat the shell. Let me crack it open, then you get the nut, not the shell.
Well, that depends. Sometimes I eat peanut shells.
I've seen you do that.
Sometimes I'll toss the whole peanut in my mouth. Like, I'm not...
No, I'm talking like cashews.
Yeah, how are you gonna fucking bite through a pecan shell?
Yeah,
or an almond shell. How do you say almond? Almond. How do you say it?
Almond.
You say almond?
Yeah.
Kelly says almond, and I've always said almond.
What?
That's how I've always known it.
Almond?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard that.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, we're Spanish, man. You know?
It's not even Spanish.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, my entire life, it's been almond, because that's how my mom said and shit. And then one day, like, I'm dating Kelly, and I'm like, oh, let's get some almonds. And she's like, do you mean almonds?
Yeah, no, it's almond.
I'm like, what the fuck you mean an almond? Who's almond?
Yeah.
You know? You know?
Yeah, almond.
No, I mean, no.
I've never even
Almonds.
heard that. So
What
you
about
just said
aunt and aunt?
I have heard that throughout my life. A lot of people, my aunts.
Yeah.
My aunt this, my aunt that. Me, I've always said my aunt.
I've always said aunt.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always my aunt.
Larry or Larry?
Depends on the person.
Ah. So I've always been Larry. Like I've literally, like, my whole family calls me Larry.
Yeah.
But my buddies that knew me as Larry call me Larry.
I would say, me personally, it would be Larry until you saw Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Then it'd be Larry.
Yeah, but I also grew up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Larry.
To me,
I'm gonna start calling you Stev.
To me, it would always
Stev
be
now.
Larry.
How you doing, Stev?
Chilling.
I think this is a good point to Stefan with the PH.
I've had a bunch of people call
I think
me
this is a good
Stefan.
point for us to end this on a good note.
I like it.
It was very nice having this conversation with you tonight, Steve.
Yes, it was.
Thank you for having me.
We went a bunch of different directions that we didn't even think.
We talked about a lot of shit, and I think this might be our first, like, really good podcast that might be publishable.
I like it, and
There's a lot in there.
The best thing I like about this too is that we didn't have no notes. We didn't prepare for it.
Nope.
And I'm looking forward to when we actually do a podcast and we do a little research.
Yep, when we have some guests and stuff, because we have some guests coming up.
We do have guests coming up, and not even the guests, just you and us.
Yeah.
You and us. You and I, or you and us, talking to an imaginary person.
Yep. You and us talking to our fans as well.
Yep.
You know?
Alright, so there you go, yeah. You and us, talking to the fans. I saw that on the Facebook, we got 40 likes.
Nice. Nice.
Just inviting.
It's a good start.
One click was 40, so
yeah.
That's with just the new graphics.
Nice.
I have completely avoided the .net domain right now.
Yep.
As I told you that I'm going to use the Facebook as kind of the trial and error.
Yeah, and then we can use the actual website, you know, once we have some content to post that's our own.
Once we have content and we said we're going to do some pictures.
Pictures and merch.
Yep. Bless you. One more time. Bless you again.
And I didn't cover my mouth for any of that because fuck COVID.
He threw the elbow up.
I threw the elbow up. I did. I think that's actually much more cleanly than into your hand.
Oh yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Elbow, yeah. You put it in your hand. You're like, hey, how you doing?
Hey,
shaking hands.
Here's my viruses. Nice to meet you. My name's Larry.
Welcome to my bacteria.